You're listening to the Cool Audio Podcast, your escape into the world of stories, sounds, and imagination. Whether you're driving, chilling at home, or just need a moment to unplug, we've got a story just for you. So sit back, relax, and let the journey begin. The whole city seemed to turn gloomy with Justin's disappearance. The city had overcast skies for a few days, but didn't have any snow. The gloomy weather made people restless all day long. They shared the new developments about their search for Justin each day in the Snap group. Brenton and Max put down almost all the business they were doing to search for Justin. Noah used all his resources in the Municipal Public Security Bureau, trying to find a clue. Jack even contacted Rick to use his resources outside the country to find a clue. No, we haven't found anything yet. If we do, I'll tell you immediately. I know money is not a problem. I'll do my best. Don't worry. I know how important he is to you guys. Rick talked to Jack in fluent English. Hanging up, Rick turned to look at Fiona. Were you talking to my brother-in-law? Fiona chuckled. You know that. I hope you didn't bug my cell phone. Rick looked cold. Fiona gave him a contemptuous look. Please, I'm not that low. It's an easy guess. After all, you have only one friend and he's my brother-in-law. Rick was embarrassed and knew Fiona was indeed as sharp-tongued as the rumors said. Let's get back to business. Rick changed the subject. Since he didn't think Justin had anything to do with Fiona, he didn't tell her about Justin's disappearance. Fiona agreed to do the deal with him mostly as a favor to her brother-in-law. Otherwise, she wouldn't want to see that jackass Caslius again, even for $1 billion. I heard the person Caslius fears the most is you. Rick looked at Fiona, who was putting on lipstick with a small mirror. Yeah, go on. Caslius is in Colombia. Since the deal involves my business partner, I have no choice but to ask you to go there in person. No problem. Transfer the remaining money to my Swiss bank account. I thought I'd transfer the money after it's done. Rick looked resigned. Are you kidding? I always take money before I begin missions. Seeing the money gives me the drive to do it. Otherwise, I'd never want to set my eyes on that perverse bastard again. Finishing applying her makeup, Fiona put the Chanel lipstick back into her purse. The money is not a problem. I'll transfer it to your bank account now. When are you going to Colombia? Fiona glanced at her watch. In half an hour in my private plane. But for the record, if I use some extreme method to kill him, don't blame me for the mess I leave to you. For example, Rick was uncertain. For example, when I blow up that psycho, I might blow up your business partner too. I know you're a bomb genius, but can you not use bombs this time? I'm afraid you'd destroy my goods. Rick was at the end of his wits. If he could find a way to move his goods back, he'd never want to deal with Fiona. She was quite difficult to get along with. Rick suddenly felt his wife Cece was so gentle and thoughtful, a good example. If someone fell in love with Fiona, that guy would have his plate full. Are you cursing me silently? As Rick remained silent, Fiona guessed he must be cursing her silently. No. It's fine. I don't care. But if you badger me further and make me late for dinner, I might ask for $100 million more from you. I think you shouldn't be a mercenary. You should be a bandit. Rick made the comment quite objectively. Even if I was a bandit, I'd be a bandit with a passion for scientific research and knowledge. Rick was rendered speechless by her retort. Rick had thought Fiona would use the half hour before the flight to get ready or arrange for work. But it turned out she wanted to use this half hour for dinner. When the mood struck her, Fiona was very picky with her food, and sometimes even asked to see the materials first. Whenever a novel idea struck her, her chefs would always have a difficult time. She met Rick on his plantation in New Orleans in the U.S. There were several chefs here, but most of them were local people. When Fiona ordered a fried rice, the chefs standing before her in a row all looked stupefied. Mr. Rick, Miss Fiona said she wanted egg fried rice, but our chefs can't make it, Rick's subordinate reported to him. So, Miss Fiona said if she couldn't have fried rice in half an hour, she might feel moody and not want to go to Colombia. She's so hard to please. Rick was exasperated. What shall we do now? The nearest restaurant is 20 minutes away, and it'll take us 40 minutes to get the food back. So, I think we can ask Madame's cook to make the dish. Rick understood immediately. He had been so busy that he had totally forgotten it. When Cece lived here, she didn't like the Western dishes. After she got pregnant, she especially missed home food. Rick searched for a long while and finally found a woman who had come to the States to take care of her child who was studying here. The woman wasn't a great chef, but her home-style cooking reminded Cece of her hometown. "Is Miss Cui still here?" Rick asked his subordinate. "Yeah, she is in Madame's house. Ask her to come over and cook for Empress Wagner." Rick had no choice but to satisfy Fiona's whimsical desires. In fact, Fiona wasn't doing it purposefully. Her subordinates all knew her changeable tastes for food. One day she might want roast sweet potatoes, and on the next day she'd want to eat spaghetti. There were 2 chefs on her private staff to serve her both home and Western food. Traveling with her, Riker enjoyed all kinds of great food too. 15 minutes later, Cece's cook, Miss Cui, brought a plate of steaming egg-fried rice to her. "Miss, I made it. It might not be to your taste since I don't have enough materials. Hearing that you have a plane to catch, I made a simple egg-fried rice. It's not the Yangzhou fried rice you asked. Please try it." Mr. Cui didn't know Fiona's identity and thought she was a rich girl, but Fiona liked this amiable woman. "Thank you. Please sit down while I try it." With a smile, Fiona pulled the plate over and put a spoonful into her mouth, chewing carefully. She nodded and gulped down the whole plateful of rice in a minute. "Ma'am, where did you buy the eggs?" Fiona asked. "They were not bought. The parents of Mr. Rick's wife mailed them to us. They are eggs from hens raised with natural feed." "No wonder it's delicious. Thank you, ma'am." When Fiona was polite, she looked like a scholar. "You're welcome. I'm glad you like it." Elegantly, Fiona drew out a paper handkerchief to wipe her lips. Then she left a stack of something before Miss Cui. Her movement was so fast that Miss Cui didn't see what the thing was until Fiona was gone. It was a grand exit. No one saw how Fiona produced the cash, but in Miss Cui's hand was a stack of US dollars. It wasn't thick, but there were more than 50 $100 bills in the stack. They were over 5,000 US dollars. Miss Cui wasn't rich. After her husband cheated on her and divorced her, she had raised her daughter alone. Even though her daughter got a scholarship in the university, she still had to sell her old apartment to help her daughter come to the States. They lived frugally over here. Fortunately, Rick was generous and paid her 3,000 USD each month for making Cece's food. She was very satisfied with this salary because Cece was very nice and never picked on her. She always gave gifts to Miss Cui and her daughter. But Miss Cui was still stunned when the rich and pretty girl she had never met before tipped her over 5,000 USD for making a simple egg-fried rice. She was afraid to take it and brought it to her employer. Rick glanced at the money without surprise because he had heard about Fiona's extravagant habits. "Miss Cui, take it. It's nothing for her. She has so much money that she can't spend it, even if she had many lifetimes." Rick was right. Fiona's fortune was frighteningly big. It was said in Fiona's life of over 20 years, the biggest one-time spending was on her 18th birthday. She bought a new mansion which was built at a cost of $10 billion. Fiona spent $15.2 billion to buy it. However, in less than 1 hour after she purchased it, she blew it into a pile of debris. When someone asked her why she did it, she answered calmly that she just wanted to see how powerful her newly developed bomb was. Many mercenaries talked about the story since she was an idol and legend in the world of mercenaries. After dinner, Fiona flew to Colombia in her private plan to help Rick get his goods. Meanwhile, Riker made a trip to the Golden Triangle because someone had seen Nan there. Ever since Nan disappeared, Riker's father was worried and had been searching for him. But Senior Mr. Ross didn't know that Nan was held up in the Golden Triangle because he was afraid that Fiona would kill him. Meanwhile, in the depths of a jungle in Yunnan province, a group of bamboo cottages were concealed among huge trees. "Is Justin awake?" a woman asked. "He just woke up but is still groggy." "Oh? I'll go and see his pathetic face." The woman stood up with a smile. With a bottle of red wine in her hand, she walked through a big bamboo forest and came to a heavily guarded wooden room, which had no window but a small door like an opening for dogs. The guards saluted the woman respectfully. Without sparing them a glance, she pushed open the door and bent down to enter the small wooden room. Justin had just woken up, and his head still hurt with stinging pain. "President Cooper, we meet again. It's been 5 years, and I truly missed you. I dreamed of our meeting again every night." Hearing the woman's voice, Justin lifted his head slowly, looking confused by what he saw. "You're still confused? I'll somber you up." With a smirk, the woman pulled out the cork from the wine bottle and poured all the contents on Justin's head, soaking him. "Zoe Stone, I haven't seen you for years, and you've gotten even ruder. What? You miss the meals in prison?" Regardless of the red wine all over his head, Justin sneered. Justin was now quite certain that the person he saw that night was Zoe. He had been astonished to see her, and thus didn't notice the guy behind him and the anesthetic dart shooting toward him. Everything happened in a flash. To be honest, if the woman didn't stand before him, he'd have totally forgotten her existence. 5 years ago, Zoe was a very popular star. At that time, Gianna wasn't popular. Cotton Candy had just entered Imperial Star, and Kira hadn't become a prize-winning A-list actress yet. Due to her pretty face and good acting skills, Zoe was the most popular star of that year, and Imperial Star spent lots of money to promote her. However, she wanted to sleep with Justin. After many failures, she tried to hurt Chloe because she found Justin loved this ordinary-looking female doctor at Southside. Driven by jealousy, she had used all kinds of despicable tricks on Chloe, despite Justin's warnings. Finally, after another scheme of hers against Chloe failed, Justin got furious and sent her to prison so she could repent on her wrongdoings there. Justin didn't know that Zoe was bailed out for medical reasons after a bit over 1 year. Then, she vanished. Seeing Zoe, who wasn't supposed to appear, Justin knew her purpose. She did this for revenge. After all, she hated Justin not only because he made her stay in prison for more than 1 year, but that her innocent sister Naomi died during the process. After Zoe went to prison during the peak of her career, the rumors said it was because the Imperial Star president Justin cheated on her with Chloe, a doctor at Southside. To gain favors from his new girlfriend, he had done this cruel thing to Zoe. This was, of course, not the truth. It was just a story made up by some despicable tabloids and imaginative netizens. Unfortunately, Naomi, a student in college, believed the story and wanted to avenge her sister. Without connections or fortune, she had resorted to a stupid way to deal with Justin. She killed herself in Justin's house, and the media accused Justin of killing her. Fortunately, that day was Justin's birthday, and he went to see Chloe, which cleared his name. Naomi's scheme failed, and she died in vain. Justin pitied her family and gave them a big amount of money. However, Naomi's boyfriend, Dr. Gabriel, came from abroad to avenge his girlfriend and concocted a series of conspiracies. After he failed, he fled out of the country. Before he went, he warned Chloe that it wasn't over. It seemed Gabriel knew at that time that Zoe would return and retaliate. Yeah, several years had passed after those things happened. Justin felt as if a lifetime had passed. If he hadn't seen Zoe's familiar face, he'd have forgotten those things. "Shut up, scumbag. You almost got me killed and even caused the death of innocent Naomi. You don't deserve to live. You should go to hell." Zoe's eyes were full of deep hatred. Furious, she swung the empty wine glass onto Justin's head with vicious force. Instantly, the bottle shattered, and blood oozed out of the wound in his head. Justin felt his head turn numb, and he stumbled and then dropped to the ground. "Aren't you very powerful? Aren't you the prince of the Cooper family who can do anything you want?" Heh. Seeing Justin's wound, Zoe laughed hysterically, feeling every cell in her body wake up with the happiness of revenge. "Shut up. Kill me. I don't have time to chit-chat with you." Justin's voice was weak. It wasn't that Zoe had become stronger, but that Justin still felt the numbing effect of the drug and couldn't control his limbs. Even though he had seen the wine bottle that Zoe smashed toward him, he couldn't have done anything about it. "You want to die so soon? You're spineless. President Cooper, tell me, are you a coward?" Zoe squatted down and grabbed Justin's bloody hair forcefully. "I don't know if I'm a coward, but I know you're a batch." Justin seldom used this dirty word, but Zoe was unbearable. "You're regretting that you didn't get me killed in the prison, right?" Zoe smirked. Justin didn't answer. Feeling the pain from his head, he didn't know if glass shards had entered his scalp. He was listless with fatigue and pain. You guys think you're saints. You did a dirty trick on us and beautified it by calling it a chance for us to repent our wrongdoings. You like pretending to be good people, right? You made a mistake. Andrew is smarter than you. He gets rid of trouble from the roots. If you killed me, you wouldn't have ended up here. As the saying goes, every dog has his day, right? If you want revenge, just do it. Stop the BS, Justin said contemptuously, and didn't want to look at this woman. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not finished with my story. President Cooper, my dear President Cooper, aren't you curious how I became the woman I am now? Justin only recognized the woman as Zoe since her features were the same, but he didn't study the details. In fact, she had changed a lot from 5 years ago. She did only some minor plastic surgeries on her face, so her looks didn't change much. But if Justin looked carefully, he'd see her eyes had turned to the color of green, which glittered during the night like a beast in the mountains. It was a trending practice in foreign countries, pupil tattoos. It was a practice of using chemical solutions to change the white of eyes into colors they liked. It was very dangerous and had been banned in all the countries. It had become a game for crazy people in black market. Besides the pupil tattoo, all her body was covered in tattoos, including her butt and toes. She didn't have a good life in the past years, losing all the spotlight she had enjoyed as a star. She had had 10 million fans and got paid hundreds of millions of dollars for one movie, with many guys pursuing her. When I was in the prison, I was so far in despair that I wanted to kill myself. I was even assaulted by those damned inmates. You don't know how perverse they were. In fact, I should get you into the prison and let you feel the pain I had. Zoe smiled. She reached out and lifted Justin's chin forcefully. Look at me, Justin, she said. Justin looked down as blood dripped down his head. The warm blood dripped down to Zoe's fingers, and that seemed to excite her. You don't know the price I paid to escape that inhumane prison. My fan, he's fanatical. Since my imprisonment, he had been planning my escape. He's our national, without much power here. So we had to choose a very dangerous and extreme method. A book delivered to me was infected with tuberculosis. I used my spit to contract the disease, and my fan got me out after paying a huge sum of money. I had severe tuberculosis and survived. Ha. God let me live to see this day, the day where I'll exact my revenge. Although Zoe spoke with a smile on her face, there were tears in her eyes. Tuberculosis was a serious disease and posed life-threatening danger. Also, it was infectious. Justin listened silently. Every moment of the past 5 years, I've dreamt of coming back to find you. I've been looking for a chance and waited until I was absolutely prepared. Okay, Miss Zoe, you win. Hurry up and get on with it. I'd rather see Satan than you. Justin did not like Zoe. He found her annoying before, and he hated her even more now. So he tried to anger Zoe so she would give him a quick death. Now that he was in her hands, he was bound for a terrible fate. You want death? Not so easy. I haven't had my fun yet. Do whatever you want. Steam me, fry me, boil me alive. If I make a sound, I'm not a man, Justin sneered. Justin had spent his time in the army, so his self-respect and courage came from his bones. He knew that he wasn't going to have a good time from looking at the manic Zoe. The woman most likely had some strings loose, as she had been living in hatred for the past 5 years. There was no way she would be normal. As soon as he was captured, he was prepared to not get back alive. He didn't get rid of her back then because of the kindness in his heart, and that led her to come back for revenge. It was all fate. So at that moment, Justin gave in to fate. However, he wasn't going to be a coward. If he was going to die either way, he was going to stay true to himself until the end. He wanted everyone to know that Justin was a real, strong, wolf-like northern man. You're still so adorable. Did you know that your fearlessness was what attracted me all those years ago? Justin, how could you still be so adorable? If this didn't happen between us, I would really like to be your wife. Don't disgust me. I would never marry a whore, Justin sneered as a droplet of blood ran down his brows. His handsome face was indescribably beautiful. Ha ha, but you're going to die to a whore. Justin, is this your karma? Zoe seemed full of herself. She knew that Justin was powerless. He was like an ant, and she could crush him at any second. So what? I'll die a man. To be truthful, Justin was never afraid of death. He wasn't afraid when he was in the army, much less now. I know you're not afraid, so I am not going to give you the luxury of death. Say, would you be happier if I had Chloe accompany you here? Zoe laughed evilly. When Justin heard Chloe's voice, his heart trembled. That really pained him. The entire world knew that Chloe was Justin's weak spot. She was 5 years ago. She had always been and always would be. Zoe, I'm warning you. If you dare touch Chloe, I'll never forgive you. Justin said that calmly, without yelling or agitation. However, that made it even more impactful. He had so much self-control for being able to speak calmly in such a situation. Of course you're still so pathetic. Zoe's eyes formed slits from smiling. She seemed to have anticipated Justin's reaction. For the past 5 years, he hadn't left Chloe's side. He protected her as a friend. If something happened to Chloe, Justin was always the first one there after Jack. Zoe received the information about Justin and Chloe while abroad, and she almost went insane from jealousy. The files detailed everything. To save Chloe, Justin pointed a gun to his temple and coerced his grandfather into saving her. To protect Chloe, Justin let her stay with the Cooper family through her pregnancy. Justin was there for her every moment of her pregnancy. For the 4 years Jack spent recuperating in the States, Justin was the one who took care of the twins and Chloe. Justin was always the one who celebrated Chloe's birthday. He made it more luxurious than the annual Imperial Star celebrations. For the past 5 years, there had been a lot of rumors surrounding Justin. However, he wasn't with anyone. From beginning to end, he was a knight protecting his princess, even though his princess already had a prince, even though his princess was pregnant again and with her family. Even though for the past 5 years, Justin was mocked for being forever single. He didn't care. For Chloe, he gave his most precious youth and truest heart. Zoe thought that Justin went after Chloe for fun and that it wouldn't last long. Even if he had her, he would get bored after a while. That was not the case. After people found out, they were all shocked. They didn't know that Justin was like this. He seemed like a playboy, but was as innocent as a child and as persistent as a lunatic. Of course men want what they can't have. Chloe's a pro. She's kept you on the hook for the past 5 years. She never agreed to be with you, but she never rejected you either. She used you, and if Jack didn't come back, you would have been her second choice. Zoe hated Chloe's guts too. She hated her as much as she hated Justin. Chloe never did that. Don't slander her. Chloe always outright rejected Justin. She never gave him any hope. Justin knew that better than anyone. Spare me. Do you really think Chloe's a goddess? She's just like me, a scheming batch. You treat her like a treasure, but she's just playing the 2 most powerful men at her fingertips. Even though she's pregnant, she's still messing around. Do you guys meet often? Zoe, were you born with your foot in your mouth? Justin was angered, as Chloe was villainified by Zoe. What? Did that hurt you? If I kidnap Chloe, bring her here and torture her in front of you, would you go insane? Zoe laughed hysterically. You won't be able to. Ha ha, you don't have the power to do so. Justin thought that Chloe was very well protected. There were Jack's men, his men, and Chloe's men all secretly protecting her. Touching Chloe was harder than touching the sky. Justin, let's do a fun experiment then. Let's see if the woman you gave up everything for is worth it. After speaking, Zoe dialed a set of numbers. Justin suddenly had a sinking feeling. When she got Zoe's call, Chloe happened to be in the ensuite bathroom of South Hill Manor's master bedroom. She prepared a lot of new clothes for the baby, but she wouldn't use a washing machine to wash baby clothes. So she hid from Jack and washed it by hand, trying to be a competent mother. Of course, when Chloe was washing the clothes, she wasn't paying much attention. She vaguely remembered that not long ago, Justin said that he would gift the boy a Lamborghini when he was born. Chloe had said that buying him a Lamborghini was useless, and that it was better to just get him a toy. Now that she thought about it, She regretted that they didn't have a proper conversation. Now she didn't know if he was dead or alive. Her mood immediately sank. When her phone rang, she looked at the caller ID and hesitated. There was no caller ID. It was strange. If it was before, Chloe would treat it as a scam call and let it go to voicemail. It was different now. She wouldn't let any call go. She thought that she might get a lead on Justin. Of course, it might be her sixth sense. Chloe quickly wiped her hands. Then she picked up the phone and said in a low voice, "Hello? Dr. Green, is it?" A woman's voice sounded. "You are? Don't you want to hear Justin's voice?" Her voice was filled with mockery and contempt. When hearing Justin's name, Chloe's heart came to a halt. "Who are you?" Chloe's voice became lower. "It doesn't matter who I am. It matters that Justin is in my hands. Come here, Justin. Our brave and courageous Justin. Come give a message to your Valentine." Zoe pressed the phone to Justin's ear. Justin remained silent. "Justin, is that really you? We've been looking for you. Where are you?" Chloe was anxious and kept on asking questions. Sadly, Justin only listened without speaking. "Eh? Worried? Are you worried about your Valentine coming to save you? Are you pretending to be a mute?" Zoe stepped on Justin's bleeding head with her heels. "Don't you miss your love? After all, Chloe is so important to you." Justin lifted his head and stared at Zoe viciously. That gaze was tearing her apart. "Okay then. If you're not going to say anything, then I will." After, Zoe picked up her phone again. "Chloe, listen here. Justin is in my hands, and if you want to keep him alive, follow my demands. Come alone without alerting the police or telling anyone. Remember, come alone. If you dare to try anything, I'm going to dismember Justin alive and mail his corpse back to you. Don't you like to do medical research? You can use him as a human sample at your south side. Ha ha." Zoe was truly mad. When she spoke to Chloe, she became increasingly erratic. From demanding Chloe to come alone, to dismembering Justin and making him a sample, Chloe was on the verge of tears upon hearing these words. "Don't hurt Justin. I'm willing to do anything." Chloe only calmly said one sentence. "Ha ha ha, of course you would. Justin didn't love you for nothing. Justin, listen here," your love said. "Don't hurt Justin. I'm willing to do anything." Zoe mocked Chloe's tone and finally angered Justin. "Zoe, screw you and your entire lineage," Justin cursed with bloodshot eyes. Chloe, on the other end of the phone, finally confirmed that Justin was indeed in that person's hands. Hold on, she just heard Justin say a name. Zoe. Before Chloe could react, Zoe took over the phone and continued speaking. "Chloe, don't try to pull any tricks. If you dare tell anyone, your friends or your sister, Justin is dead. If I can catch Justin that easily, I can catch you." "How do I contact you and go where you want me to?" Chloe asked hurriedly. "I'll call you later to tell you. Anyways, don't worry. I'll know when it's convenient for you to pick up." After speaking, Zoe hung up. Chloe's heart was chilled. Zoe said that she knew when Chloe was able to pick up the phone. Did that mean that she was under surveillance? Thinking about it made her realize that she only got the call when she was alone in the washroom. She didn't get any when she was with Jack. She wanted to investigate Zoe before, but the woman didn't seem simple. So, to protect Justin, Chloe didn't dare to make any moves. After ending the call, she didn't want to keep doing laundry. After finishing up, she went to rest on the bed and thought about the details. Zoe's motivation was clear. She wanted revenge. Chloe suddenly remembered what Gabriel last said to her. Gabriel should have known that Zoe would come back for revenge. They both came back to avenge Naomi's death. Chloe laid on the bed with her eyes closed, trying very hard to calm down. On the other hand, after hanging up, Zoe looked at Justin in disgust. "You're finally going to see your love. Are you happy?" Justin stared at her, trying to stand up. However, his body didn't obey his commands as he swayed about like a drunk. "What? Do you want to kill me? Why don't you take a look at yourself? You're as defenseless as a puppy." Zoe kicked Justin's abdomen hard. He fell and couldn't fight back. "Get a doctor to take care of his injuries and deliver some food." Before Zoe left, she ordered. She felt satisfied and free as she left the cabin. "Miss Zoe, Mr. Y is looking for you," a man reported. "Okay." Zoe nodded and headed for the main building. A middle-aged man was lazily lounging on a loveseat in the main building. Next to him was a young lady in lingerie giving him a massage. The scene was very provocative. Zoe wasn't surprised at all when she saw it. As she walked in, Mr. Y was smoking and enjoying the joy of euphoria. "Come here, Zoe. Come to Cloud 9 with me." The man waved. Zoe walked over obediently, laying next to him and taking a big hit. She immediately showed enjoyment on her face. "How is it? It's from Yunnan." The man smiled. "Not bad. The taste is good." Zoe nodded in satisfaction. "You saw Justin?" How is he?" "As helpless as a dog. He's up for slaughter." "Did you make the call?" "Yes." "Chloe agreed to it?" "Yes." "That's great. I'm curious. Why does Master want Chloe here? Could Master be interested in that batch too?" Zoe was curious. "We can't question Master. Do your part. When's the soonest Chloe can arrive?" "I think within 3 days." Zoe looked full of herself and began planning the trap. That night, Jack accompanied the twins as they practiced the piano. Mr. Dawson spoiled his children more and more. He seemed to have put his work on the back burner. He stopped working overtime, and his employees noticed that he was becoming more humane. Actually, Jack just wanted to spend more time with his family. Career, money, and power all had no ceiling. Only family was of the utmost importance. Of course, as he got older, he understood that more and more. Chloe went downstairs with a heavy heart and saw the heartwarming scene. Pudding sat on a stool next to the piano with a mic in her hand. Little Bean sat on Jack's lap and played the piano. She was playing a children's song that Chloe always liked, The Little Sun. Little Bean played as Pudding sang. The combination was perfect. Chloe saw from afar that Mr. Dawson had his head lowered with a happy smile on his face. She didn't have the heart to interrupt. The grandparents were filming them. Chloe knew that ever since her in-laws got addicted to Snap, they posted very often. Most of their posts were about the twins. After the song, Pudding raised her head and saw her mommy on the second floor. "Mommy," she called with a smile on her face. Little Bean immediately turned around. "Mommy, did you hear that? How's our collaboration?" As she went downstairs, she smiled and said, "It was excellent." "Really?" Little Bean seemed to be in disbelief. "Really, you and your sister's performance was phenomenal. I think I'll talk to your daddy about you guys performing at the year-end conference." Little Bean nudged her head against Jack's chin. "Mr. Dawson, what do you think about Dr. Green's proposal?" "Miss Dawson, I think the proposal is great." Jack looked at them dotingly. "Then, Daddy, how much would we be paid for the show?" Little Bean asked mischievously. "You want to be paid?" Jack chuckled. "Of course. Since you're our daddy, we can give you a lower quote. Isn't that right, sis?" When Little Bean was in a good mood, she would refer to her sister politely. If she was angry, she would call her Dawson Chow Chow. The family was used to the two children's way of speaking. "I'm fine with whatever. I'll leave Daddy to decide the amount." Pudding looked indifferent. "You two, you're always thinking of how to scam us. Our money would be yours eventually." Chloe tried her hardest to smile and look normal. "Who said so? That might have been true before, but not now. When little Dawson comes out, the money's all his. We'll have to take the scraps." Little Bean pouted. Chloe didn't know whether to laugh or cry when she heard that. From what it looked like, he was bound to take all the blame for his older sisters. "Mommy, let's watch a movie together next Saturday." "Oh, what's showing?" Chloe hadn't paid attention to this stuff in a long time. She asked when Pudding brought it up. "Yep, I heard that Disney made a really good animated movie." Pudding couldn't finish her sentence. Little Bean interrupted her and said, "Yeah, it's called Coco. I heard it was really good. Our English teacher recommended it to us." "So it's a Disney cartoon. We have to watch it then. But honey, are you free tomorrow? If not, I'll bring them." Before Chloe could finish, Mr. Dawson answered, "Yes." "But don't you have a lunch meeting with a client tomorrow?" Chloe laughed and asked. "That I can reschedule, but I have to watch the movie with my daughters." Mr. Dawson said that with a serious face, as if he was at an executive meeting. "Oh, yay! God bless Mommy and Daddy." The children's suggestion was gladly accepted by their parents. In the adult world, they have 100 things to take care of in one day. Their children were only one amongst the 100. However, in the children's worlds, They only had one thing to look forward to. If the adults refused, they would have lost days of planning and hope. Jack was famous for spoiling his daughters. He hadn't lectured them in a long time, even if they did something wrong. Chloe was quite strict, so Mr. Dawson played the good cop while she played the bad cop. However, that didn't hinder their love towards their mother. I'm a little hungry. I'll get Mrs. Wu to make me something to eat." As Little Bean said that, she hopped off her daddy's leg. Mrs. Wu was the head chef at South Hill Manor. She had 2 sous chefs, too. "It's so late, Mrs. Wu must be resting now. What do you want to eat? Mommy will make it for you." Chloe stopped Little Bean and picked her up. Frightened, Madame Dawson ran from the sofa and took Little Bean. "Little Bean, you can't get Mommy to pick you up. She has your little brother in her tummy." "I know, Grandma. I didn't ask Mommy to. Mommy picked me up herself." Little Bean looked wronged. Chloe squeezed Little Bean's face lovingly and patted Pudding's head. "Mommy just happens to be free tonight. Order whatever you want." Pudding tilted her head, thought about it for a second, and said, "Mommy, I want your carrot meatball soup." "That's right. I want that too. I also want an omelet," Little Bean added. "That's not a problem. I'll make that right now. Wait here with Daddy." "Honey, I'll help." Jack rose and was going to the kitchen with Chloe. However, she pushed him out. "I really don't need your help. It's really simple. Just wait. I'll make a bit more for all of us." After, Chloe went into the kitchen alone. "Mommy seems to be in a good mood tonight. She's making us a snack." Little Bean knew that carrot meatball soup was hard to make, as her mom hadn't made that in a very long time. Mommy looks a little different tonight." Pudding seemed to have sensed something. "Maybe she just wanted to do something for us," Jack speculated. After the snack, Jack's parents brought the 2 children to the hot springs to help them digest. Jack saw Chloe's swollen feet, so he made her sit on the bed as he massaged her. "Chloe, you seem to have something on your mind." "Huh? Nothing. I felt happy tonight. I like spending time with our family." "Are you sure?" Jack clearly seemed to not believe her. They've been together for so long that he could tell the subtle changes. Chloe hugged Jack's head and began playing flighty. "Honey, I felt a little guilty. For the past few years, I've been busy at the hospital. I haven't spent much time with you and the kids. Do you blame me?" "What are you talking about, dummy? When have I ever blamed you?" Mr. Dawson's tone was very gentle. "What if I'll get less and less chances to spend time with you?" Chloe asked tentatively. "Why does that sound so ominous? Like you're saying goodbye?" Mr. Dawson frowned lightly. "But I'm not." Chloe smiled, but didn't say more. It was late when they went to bed. After Jack turned off the lamp on the nightstand, he saw Chloe had turned to face away from him. Usually, Chloe wouldn't face away from him except when she was angry, low in spirits, or asleep. He knew Chloe was low in spirits. He held her from behind to give her his body warmth. "Honey, my belly is big and it's tiring to always sleep on one side. I want to sleep facing this side tonight. I hope you're not angry." Chloe's voice was small, and he couldn't hear any emotion in it. "No, sleep however you feel comfortable." 5 minutes later, Jack added gently, "Chloe, I promise you I'll do my best to search for Justin. We will find him." "Okay." Chloe had complicated feelings inside. She and Mr. Dawson had gone through many things and finally had a happy family together. She truly didn't want any misunderstanding between them. Last time when Andrew kidnapped her to a deserted island, Jack had spewed out blood and almost died. Chloe had felt guilty about it. If she left again without saying a word, and very probably couldn't come back alive, what would happen to her husband? What would happen to her twin daughters? Chloe was at the most painful moment in her life. She must save Justin, but she didn't want to lose her husband and children. The only way left for her was getting Justin out at the risk of her life and then coming back intact. But it seemed impossible. Entering the enemy's den alone was dangerous enough. Keeping herself and Justin safe was just a joke. After all, she wasn't Fiona, but an ordinary person. However, Chloe didn't tell him her thoughts. On the next morning, they had breakfast and then went to the company with the kids, since they had promised them to see a movie at noon. The senior Mrs. Dawson dressed the kids prettily. Over the small white sweater with patterns of strawberry was a mid-length red cloak. They looked like little queens. The atmosphere was lively in Jack's office. Mark brought 3 glasses of warm milk for the 2 kids and Chloe. Chloe finished her milk quietly and then stood up. "Hun, I'll go to the cafeteria and tell them to make something for us to eat, so we can go to the movie in time. I bought tickets for the VIP auditorium at 12:40 p.m. "Okay, be careful." Since Chloe wouldn't go out of the building, Jack wasn't worried. But 2 big bodyguards still followed her when she walked to the cafeteria. They would follow her everywhere, and a female bodyguard would accompany her when she went to the washroom. Entering the cafeteria, Chloe turned her head and said, "I'll go and tell them what to make. You can sit here." "Okay, madame." Since they could see her anywhere in the open space of the cafeteria, the bodyguards agreed. Leaving them behind, Chloe walked slowly toward the kitchen. "Madame." The chefs in the kitchen greeted her respectfully. "Hello. Please prepare lunch for us and our kids since we'll be going out soon." "Okay, madame, what do you want to eat?" the chief chef asked deferentially. At this moment, Chloe's phone rang. She gestured for the chief chef to keep quiet and walked into a small storage room in the kitchen. Those people were very good at choosing time and knew it was convenient for her to answer their call at this moment. "Hello?" Chloe said in a low voice. "Chloe, you must come here in 3 days or Justin will die." Zoe's tone was very arrogant. "I want to speak to Justin." "Why?" "How do I know you haven't killed him?" "Anyway, you must let him talk to me each day, or I won't do anything you say." Chloe's mind worked fast and turned the tables immediately. Remembering Mr. Y's words that his master wanted Chloe, Zoe didn't dare to disagree. She said reluctantly, "Okay, I'll let you talk to him." 1 minute later, faint panting sounds reached Chloe's ears, making her heart contract. "Justin, are you okay?" she asked anxiously. "Chloe, please don't come." Justin sounded weak and listless, but he was determined. He was never a coward, but he was afraid Chloe would die for him. He didn't care about his life, but he couldn't let Chloe die, not for him. "Justin, don't be afraid. Hang on, I'll get you out." "Don't come, please, Chloe, don't come," Justin said chokingly. "Yeah," he wept, helplessly and in resignation. He didn't want Chloe to come, but he knew she would come. The thought brought great pain to him, so he wept. "Don't be silly. We'll be fine. Pudding and Little Bean are waiting for you to return safely and bring them to Disneyland in Japan." "Okay, you've talked enough. Now you will do as I say, right?" "Okay, give me the address and I'll get there in time." "Do you think we're morons? If I give you our address, you'll bring people here to kill us. Listen, I'll give you an address tomorrow night and you must go to that place. Then our people will take you away. Remember, don't play tricks." Zoe warned her and ended the call. Chloe felt unsettled again. She stood there for a minute and then walked out with a pale face. "Please make 2 dishes of your own choice, 1 meat and 1 vegetable. The kids like fried chicken legs, but don't eat them often because I don't allow it. Today, I'll make an exception for them." "Okay, we'll do as you say, madam." When Chloe was on her way back to the office, she got a call from Melody. She had been so busy that she had totally forgotten about Melody's live show this week. "Melody, what's up?" "Sister Chloe, I got to the next round again. Ha ha. The next week is the final round with only 3 pairs of contestants left. It doesn't matter if we get first place or not. I'm satisfied with my progress until now." Melody sounded happy. "Congratulations." "Thank you, Sister Chloe. I'll invite you and President Cooper for dinner when I get back. By the way, I haven't seen President Cooper at the company for a few days now. He didn't reply to my messages. He's just out of touch. Do you know what happened?" Melody couldn't suppress her curiosity and called Chloe. "Justin is on a trip," said Chloe. "Huh? On a trip?" "He didn't tell us about it since no one seems to know it. Even if he's on a trip, he should have his cell phone with him." "Sister Chloe, what on earth happened to President Cooper? Is our company in debt so he ran from his debtors?" Melody's imagination ran wild. "No, he's not in debt," Chloe answered calmly. "Oh, that's good. I thought President Cooper was in trouble." Melody trusted Chloe, and when she heard Justin wasn't in trouble, she felt relieved. Ending the call, Chloe walked into Jack's office. The two kids were playing games and Jack was handling the company business. Everything looked normal. "Mommy, did you tell the kitchen to make something delicious?" Little Bean was always interested in food. "I told them to make something of their own choice." "I see. I thought we'd have a feast." Little Bean looked disappointed. Shaking her head in resignation, Chloe walked over and pulled Little Bean onto her lap. "Grandma said we can't let you carry us." Little Bean was afraid to hurt her mommy and her unborn younger brother. "It's okay. I'm not carrying you. Little Bean, you're still young and have lots of opportunities to eat good food, but you can't get overweight. Mommy is a doctor and you must listen to me. If you're overweight, you'll get sick. I don't want you to be sick. I hope you'll always be healthy. Understand?" "Yes, Mommy." Little Bean was very obedient. Chloe touched her head lovingly and put her down gently. She glanced at Pudding. "Come to Mommy." Pudding put down her tablet and came over obediently. "Pudding, you're older and always take care of your sister. But we don't love you less just because you're older. Your daddy and I, your grandpa and grandma love you and your sister equally. You must remember, no matter how considerate and smart you are, you're always a kid in my eyes." Chloe kissed Pudding's forehead lovingly. Sitting not far from them, Jack paused his typing for a few seconds. He didn't glance at them, but had heard every word Chloe said to their children. A moment ago, when Chloe was in the cafeteria, the system monitoring her cell phone was interrupted for more than 1 minute. He couldn't track the caller or its location. He only knew Chloe received a mysterious call. From last night to today, Chloe had acted a bit weirdly. She was trying her best to disguise it, but Jack had been with her for years and knew her well enough to see her strange behavior. But since Chloe didn't tell him, he wouldn't ask because he knew Chloe wasn't trying to hide it from him. She must have found it difficult to tell him about it. For now, the only thing that could get Chloe so worried was Justin's disappearance. Jack wondered if Andrew kidnapped Justin and used Justin to blackmail her. Half an hour later, the cafeteria delivered their lunch. Although Chloe had told them to make it simple and asked for only 1 meat dish and 1 vegetable dish, the chefs still prepared an abundant meal for the pregnant wife and kids of their president. Stir-fried gumbo, broccoli fried with meat, steamed turbot, braised prawns, bitter melon with fried eggs, with a big pan of Westlake beef broth as soup. It was a delicious and nutritious meal. Eating a meal in their daddy's office for the first time, the twins enjoyed the food with more gusto than usual. Sitting beside the kids, Jack and Chloe kept wiping their mouths and placing food onto their plates. Mr. Dawson almost ate nothing. He was busy peeling prawns for his wife and daughters. He was a clean freak, but right now, he didn't mind getting his fingers oily. "Daddy, the chefs in our company are very good. I want to have more meals here in the future," Little Bean decided. "Okay, no problem." Jack smiled with happiness, knowing Little Bean could always find contentment with food. "Sis, what do you think?" Little Bean glanced at Pudding. "The meal is delicious, but not as delicious as Mommy and Grandma's cooking." "Whoa, Miss Dina, you're awesome. You even learnt my best skill, flattery." Little Bean laughed so hard that she almost spat out the food in her mouth. Jack and Chloe laughed too. After lunch, Jack drove his family to a nearby movie theater. The VIP viewing room wasn't big, and the family sat down in the center seats. "Mommy, can I—" "No, you can't," Chloe interrupted before Little Bean could finish. "You said no before I could tell you what I want. Humph, you're not fair." Little Bean pouted. "I know you want popcorn and Coke." Chloe knew her daughter very well. Little Bean nodded repeatedly and begged, "Mommy, just buy a small popcorn for the 4 of us to share, okay?" As Chloe remained silent, she turned to Jack. "Daddy, please." "You Mommy has the final say." "Sis, you want to eat it too, right?" Little Bean put her hope on Pudding. "I don't. I'm still full." Pudding rejected her ruthlessly. Finally, Chloe relented and asked Jack to buy popcorn for Little Bean, but she ruled out Coke. After all, Little Bean was young and needed lots of calcium. She couldn't afford to lose it by drinking Coke. The movie Coco told a story about family. They watched the version with the original English soundtrack and were greatly touched. The kids and their mommy all had red-rimmed eyes at the end of the movie. They still couldn't calm down when they walked out of the movie theater. Death can't separate us. Being forgotten is the real death, Chloe mumbled her inspiration from the movie. Jack felt bad when he heard her words. He held her shoulders and soothed gently. There's no death, no separation or forgetting. I'll always stay by your side. Chloe didn't speak but felt very sad. It was 2 p.m. after the movie and the two kids were a bit drowsy. Chloe said to Jack, "Hun, I want to visit my mom. I'll take the kids with me." Jack paused. Chloe knew Jack referred to Uncle James, who had weirdly come back from death. Ever since Uncle James moved back, Chloe had seldom visited her mom, and she never took the kids with her when she did. She was afraid that man was a time bomb that could blow up any moment. "It's fine. We'll stay only a moment and I'll have the bodyguard stay with us." "Okay, be careful." "I will." As the bodyguards escorted Chloe and the kids to Sky Blessing Court, Jack returned to the office and called Noah. "Locate the source of this signal for me." Jack sent him a series of garbled characters. "What's this?" "A mysterious call which had been disguised carefully by a hacker. I can't find the content or track it. I could only get these signals. I tried to decode it, but found it's too complicated for me." "You must go to your wife if you need hacking skills. She's better than the hackers in our bureau." Noah chuckled. "I can't let Chloe know about it. That's why I called you." Jack's voice was calm. Thanks for tuning in to the Cool Audio Podcast. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a fellow story lover. Until next time, stay cool and keep listening.